Welcome back, week 2 on our NLP learning journey. I hope you all enjoyed last week. Thanks a lot for the feedback. This week is a continuation of last week. Yes, we're still on the starter menu. I want to think of this as an introduction to, natural language processing. And the idea is that it's kind of like a 5-course meal. So that's why we have the team, the team that we have now. Last week was a starter. We're still on the starter menu, but I thought I'd give it a nicer ring this week.
Hors d'oeuvre.
And so relax and enjoy the meal. Every other thing is coming out shortly. Still on our starter menu. An overview of today, what we'll be looking at this week, or what I looked at this week, was tokenization, some text pre-processing, normalization and stemming, look at part of the speech, and some chunking and tagging. So really, what is tokenization? I know we used word tokenization last week, but I guess we really didn't define it. So it's like the process of breaking text into individual words from a sentence or from sentences or like phrases and stuff like that. That's what tokenization is. So we go back same way, import the NLTK. Today we're using a sample text. I'm gonna go with Baker and Beauty. The Baker and the Beauty. Have you seen it on Netflix? I think it's really cool. I can't believe I watched like the whole season, and I really hope they come out with one again this year. I think it was last year they had it. It's really good. I like it. I like the feel, a different kind of story. So we're gonna get a word token from that. So we're getting each word from that. So we already talked about this last week. So have you seen? The question mark is regarded as a word, like a token for each of that. You can notice that we can get the length of our token. We have 21, so you can tokenize not just words from a sentence or a text. You can also tokenize like a sentence in a text. So still using our sample text, we have you seen the Baker and the Beauty? In that way, tokenization happens after each period sign. So we have 2 sentence token here. If you look at that, if you want to look at that and look at the length of that sentence token, we have 2. So we have, in essence, we really have 2 sentences in our phrase or our text. Going on to the next part, this is really about pre-processing, text if I can pronounce the word right, pre-processing, and one of them is normalization. You have that with your data, even with data and database, all of the normalization that goes into that. And so this is a process of transforming your text into a standard form where you're able to read it properly and all of that stuff. So you probably want to make them uppercase, lowercase, you want to change the font, stuffs like that, just to help you read that better. I know you all know I love the Shakespeare Hamlet, so we use the Gutenberg like we did last week. Take the first 10 words from that. You can see the first 10 words, The Tragedy of Hamlet by William Shakespeare in 1599. And then we can do like a simple for loop there and check for words that if each of the word in that list, if it's a word, if it's offered, make it all uppercase. So we have The Tragedy. So those are things you can do. You can transform to uppercase, lowercase, you can strip the words and get, like subsets of that. Those are the steps that you kind of like use your transformation. Going on to the next one that's really popular, I guess, when you talk about text pre-processing are stammers. And it's the process of reducing like inflection in your words. So most times people have troubles, CT, stuff like that. You take that and you're able to create like a single word out of that. And that way you're able to read your text better, or when you're processing your stuff, so whatever you're doing, just try to get those single words out. That way you're able to like, pick out the keywords that you're looking for. If you want to know more about that, refer to this link on CubeNet. They have stuffs there. So there are different types of stemmers. We have the pot stemmer, the Lancaster stemmer, and the WordNet Letimizer. I think this is like the most efficient, but it is also one of the most efficient. But it does take up a lot of resources. So that's something you need to look into. But resources consumes a lot of resources. A lot of resources. So yeah, that is it for that. So let's have some sample stem words: walkers, cities, works, cities, runs, running. If you do that and you do a Potter stemmer and you call the NLTK and you get the Potter stemmer in that, to get each of the words, you see from walker, it kind of like removes like the last words in there to see how you can make them similar. Works, cities or city. It does work, but it might not be what we're looking for, because at the end of the day, CITI is different from CITY. City might be referring to the bank, and city as a city place. So another one is the Lancaster. If we use that, we see we're kind of like getting somewhere with it. Workers, work, it's kind of like good, but then workers and work are different. Workers go to work. You don't want to really, it depends, on what the need is. So I had to download WordNet when I started, because the Word Legitimizer would not give me that, but it gives you an error, so you actually know about that. So that's the thing. It takes up a lot of resources. But you see here we have worker, CD, work, CD, running, run. So you kind of like relates to what we're looking at, and that way you're able to like get those words, like the inflections, and get those like, standard words, because that's all about normalization, right? You're trying to get your text in a standard format. That way you can go about your pre-processing. So the other part we're talking about was parts of speech. So we have the noun, the adjectives. This kind of helps you with your text. You want to know, what are nouns, what's happening. Depends on your goal of the project, but these are basic things you get to know with parts of speech. So I think I had to do this, but to get the post tags. So from our word token that I had earlier on, have you seen the baker? That kind of tells you what it is. Have, what is have? What is this? All of that, tag sets and stuff like that. You can see what they all mean. I think that's just a download. Yeah. So have and stuff like that. You can to be able to understand your abbreviations and what they mean with regards to parts of speech. Look at like NNP is a noun proper singular, noun proper plural. Yeah, so we have I. It's a noun proper singular, stuff like that. You're able to tell that and see what it means. So let's do for I am amazing. I want to believe so. Or I am a princess. So, I um, data data is amazing and cool. So if we did that, data is a noun plural because data is not just let's make sure I you get what I'm trying to say. You get the story. So in here we can do that with the Hamlets. So we do some kind of like pre-processing here and also able to get the tags. So the tragedy of Hamlet, D is DT. What is that? We can check what that is. More part of speech. More like a definition, I believe. Yeah. And then noun, adjective, plural. So really that's what I learned this week, using like a lot of the stories and stuff like that. We'll go down to chunking. I think that's another big part where with chunking, we're referring to like the process of taking like individual pieces of information and grouping them into a larger unit. So by grouping like the data into a larger whole, you're able to like improve the amount of information you remember or what it means. For instance, I saw the Baker and the Beauty this weekend. I love the story, and also I love to visit Puerto Rico. um Puerto Rico, it's one word, right? You should be able to find those words there. And so we have our sample tags, Puerto Rico and stuff like that. Then we can look through and say, we want the noun plural NNP and stuff like that. And then we can create a sequence for that. And we can do the regex passer on that and pass it also back into our sample tags, because we passed the sequence there. And so the output really is we're able to see now we can group. We have a chunk right here, chunk of Puerto Rico. Story is a chunk. Weekend is a chunk. So it's nice. It's a summary of what I learned this week. I think it's really cool just knowing that with the whole idea of having your computers be able to understand human language and see how it gets to process it all. So this is week 2. Week 3 it's coming up, and I'm excited about what I'm going to be showing you all. I'm going to be learning too. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. I will have this notebook on my GitHub. It looks really basic, but it's really nice to understand the basics of NLP before you actually move on to like really more advanced or intermediary courses. So let me know what you think, and see you next week. Goodbye.